Hi everybody and welcome to my presentation. Today I'm gonna talk about how I used Periscope for academic lectures during the COVID-19 pandemic. This is the main page of my Twitter account. I joined Twitter in 2012, June 2012. I have about 4,400 followers and 4,800 tweets and about 500 photos and videos. Here I have 3 screenshots from the Periscope app. Periscope is a live video streaming app for Android and iOS. It was acquired by Twitter in 2015. In the first screenshot, this is the main screen of Periscope. You can find my name and also my picture and 30,000 hearts, and it tells you about the number of groups, how many people I'm following, my followers, the number of broadcasts, and other things. In the middle screenshot, you have the last 3 lectures when they were streamed and the length of each lecture in minutes. In the third screenshot, you have the number of followers or number of people who watched the replay of certain lectures and how long ago. In my study, I'm gonna talk about the purpose of the live Periscope lectures and the topics of the lectures, the language used, the participants, the instruments, the procedures I followed for lecturing live via Periscope. I'm gonna also give some lecture analytics, the advantages of Periscope lectures, the shortcomings of Periscope lectures, and finally, I will give some recommendations for instructors. I gave several types of Periscope lectures. Some of my lectures were about language, translation, interpreting, or linguistics. Some of my lectures were live streams of some of my conference presentations, or I live streamed some of the students' oral presentations. Some of my lectures focused on self-help, test design, or I discussed some translation assignments. Also, some of my lectures are about some language teaching methodologies or technology integration in learning, research skills, language skills, reading skills, and others. Now, some lectures were delivered in English only, and some were delivered in Arabic only, or a mixture of both. It means that while I was presenting in Arabic, I would be using some technical terms in English, or the PowerPoint presentation would be in English, but the explanation and the lecture would be in Arabic. 4,400 followers, the participants consisted of 4,400 followers on Twitter and 98 followers on Periscope. And the participants consisted of students and instructors. The students were translation, linguistics, and English majors. They were studying at some Saudi universities and some Arab universities, whereas the instructors were translation instructors and others were English language instructors, English as a foreign language or a second language. The sample of my lectures in my study consisted of 48 lectures. that were delivered live via the Periscope app during COVID-19. The lectures were not part of any course or program, and they were not for credit. Attendance was free, and I gave those lectures as a volunteer. I used this questionnaire survey with open-ended questions to assess the participants' views of the lectures. Before I gave a lecture, I would make an announcement about the lecture on Twitter. The day I had to give the lecture, a few minutes before the lecture, I would set up my mobile with a tripod like you see in the picture in front of the laptop, because on the laptop screen I would have the PowerPoint presentation. Then I would go live either through the Periscope app or through Twitter. The Periscope app can only be used on the mobile. It cannot be used on the laptop. But you can go live on Twitter from the laptop if you are online. Of course, before going live, I would enter the lecture title, go live, and then start the lecture. While giving the lecture, attendees or viewers, sometimes they would ask questions or make comments on the lecture. So you can choose. At first, I chose to interrupt, to stop the lecture, respond to the comments or the questions, and then continue. Later, I chose to save all the questions and the comments until the end of the lecture, and then I will answer them all. Now, these are some statistics for some lectures, and I chose the topics, lecture topics with the highest statistics. And the statistics I have here, they are about the number of viewers, number of impressions, total engagements, number of likes and retweets and replies. Now, the lectures with the highest viewers, impressions, engagements, likes, retweets, and replies were those about translation skills, interpreting skills, the lecture about integrating illuminating teaching, the one about online homework assignments, the one about how to develop your listening skills, and also the lecture in which I discuss sentence and vocabulary translation errors, the one about teaching and learning with medical animations and videos, and this was a conference presentation, and also the lecture about student translators' difficulties with polysemes, how to cope with work and study pressures, and how to teach Arabic grammar to second language learners. Now, the highest number of viewers I had was 3,200. I have also those who watched the lecture on developing how to develop your interpreting skills, 1,600. The one in which I talked about how to integrate Illuminate in teaching, 1,300. The highest impressions were 29,000, 15,000, 7,000, very high. Total engagements, the highest was 3,400, 1,900, 700, 800, 500. Likes, the highest number, 200. Also 161. The highest retweets, 56. Highest replies, 11. Okay, the followers described my Periscope lectures as interesting, enriching, specialized, inspiring, useful, helpful, beneficial, and valuable. Very nice things. They told me that they learned a lot from my lectures and that they look forward to upcoming lectures. Of course, they put 30,000 hearts for me, in addition to smileys and flowers, and they said it was easy for them to watch the lectures because they could join the live lecture through their smartphone anytime and anywhere without prior preparation. And they didn't need to register. They didn't need a key or anything. They would just go live. Go live and watch. In my opinion, Periscope is very easy to use. You don't need to take a course in that. You don't need anybody to train you how to use Periscope. You can go live anytime without a prior preparation. There is no fee. Attendees or viewers, they don't have to pay money. You don't need a key. You don't need to register. Attendees, anybody could watch the lecture live. You don't need also to upload and post the recorded lecture on Twitter. The viewers can watch the lecture on Twitter or on the Periscope app. There is no time limit on the live broadcast. The lecture can be any length of time, 3 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours, if you wish. The Periscope lecture is automatically published on Twitter. Although Periscope has many advantages, it also has some shortcomings or challenges. When you lecture through Periscope, it's not like lecturing face-to-face or like lecturing using some of the web conferencing platforms such as Zoom or Microsoft Teams. While lecturing via Periscope, you cannot see the attendees' faces, their images. You cannot hear their voices. You cannot ask them questions. The only thing they can do, they can use the chat to ask questions and make comments. And reading comments and questions in the live chat while presenting is very distracting, especially if there are too many. Sometimes I had to interrupt the lecture to answer the questions, and then later on, I started to save all of the questions and the comments until after I finished the lecture, and I would respond to them all. One problem was that scheduling lectures at a time that's convenient for all followers was not possible. There would be a group of followers who would find the timing of the lecture inappropriate, inconvenient for them. Another issue is that Periscope deletes the broadcast after 24 hours unless it is uploaded to Twitter. There is also lack of interaction after the lecture is over on the part of the followers. Attendees are not committed and they do not interact if there is no credit for attending or if there is no certificate of attendance. I would like to give some recommendations for instructors. Instructors can use Periscope as a supplement to in-class lectures, of course, very convenient. They can use it to discuss students' assignments and difficulties, but my advice is to create a Twitter page for students enrolled in a particular course and make the page private. Give the students follow-up activities on the lecture that was delivered through Periscope. Give them credit, or a certificate for attending the lecture. With this, I come to the end of my lecture. Thank you very much for your attention. If you have any questions or comments, please write those under the video on my YouTube channel. This is the address of my YouTube channel, and this is the banner. It's enough to type in my name in the YouTube search box. Thank you very much, and goodbye.